I put $1,000 into a cryptocurrency called Fartcoin, and you're about to see what happened. Is this the next Shiba Inu, or did I just flush my money down the toilet? I'm risking it all on what might be the single dumbest crypto on the internet. We're going to see if there's a serious investment hiding behind the silly name, or if it's all just hot air. Will this be a life changing trade, or just a really, really bad smell? Stick around. All right, let's get right to it. Fartcoin. Yes, it's a real thing. And yes, I willingly used my own money to buy $1,000 worth. Why? Because in the completely unhinged world of crypto, sometimes the dumbest ideas are the ones that make the most noise, and Fartcoin is making a whole lot of noise. So, what is it? Fartcoin is a meme token that launched in October 2024 on the Solana blockchain. Its entire identity, its culture, its reason to exist is built around fart jokes. I'm not kidding. The humor is the main event. In fact, its most notable feature is a gas fee system that plays a digital fart sound whenever you make a transaction. The creators heard the term gas fees and just leaned all the way in. The origin story is just as ridiculous. Fartcoin was apparently born from an AI experiment called the Terminal of Truth, where an AI agent suggested creating a memecoin that blends artificial intelligence, crypto, and humor. This thing wasn't funded by VCs in suits. It was bootstrapped through community contests where people submitted fart jokes and memes to get their first tokens. This grassroots approach built a die-hard community of believers before the coin was worth a single penny. And that's what got my attention. We've all seen the stories of Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, coins that started as jokes and ballooned into massive assets on pure meme power. Fartcoin feels like the next logical, if absurd, step. It exploded to a market cap of hundreds of millions of dollars within just a few months, and it's done all of this primarily on Solana-based decentralized exchanges like Radium, without getting listed on major platforms like Kraken or Binance. So my mission is simple. I'm putting $1,000 into this gassy granddaddy of goofy tokens. I'll embed myself in the community, ride the waves, and document everything. Is this just a passing smell, or is there something more here? Let's find out. The first 24 hours were a classic crypto welcome. I bought the coin and it immediately tanked about 5%. It's a rite of passage, really. That first wave of buyer's remorse hits and you think, did I really just throw $1,000 at a fart joke? But I wasn't in this for safe returns. I was here for the culture. So I jumped headfirst into the Fartcoin community. I joined their channels on X, Telegram, and Discord, and it was like entering another dimension. The communities were a nonstop fire hose of memes, inside jokes, and of course, an endless supply of fart humor. It was childish, it was ridiculous, but it was also weirdly unified. These people weren't just investors, they were fans, creating the coin's marketing in real time. The project's growth wasn't coming from a big ad budget, but from thousands of people making and sharing content for free. I spent hours just scrolling, feeling the social pulse of my investment. The energy was infectious. People were posting charts with rocket emojis, sharing memes of cartoon characters farting their way to the moon, and hyping every tiny price move. A dip was a discount, and a small pump was the start of the God candle that would make them all rich. It was pure, unfiltered speculative mania, and it was honestly hilarious. By the end of the first week, something interesting had happened. My portfolio bounced back from the dip and was actually up about 15%. A small gain, but enough to feel that first hit of memecoin dopamine. The community was buzzing about a rumored partnership with an eco-friendly brand, playing into Fartcoin's bizarrely pro-environmental mission of planting trees. This project is somehow a lowbrow joke and a carbon-neutral digital asset at the same time. The contradiction is baffling. After a week, I was starting to get it. The value here wasn't tied to revenue or profits. It was tied to attention. As long as people were laughing and sharing memes, the price had a reason to exist. My $1,000 wasn't just an investment in a token, it was an investment in a joke. And for now, the joke was landing. Week 2 is when things went from amusing to just plain insane. The slow upward trend I'd been seeing suddenly went vertical. It started with whispers on Discord. A popular crypto analyst on X posted a chart about Fartcoin, pointing out a bullish pattern that suggested a huge price surge was coming. The community grabbed onto it instantly. The post was shared thousands of times. The memes got an upgrade. The hype engine went into overdrive, and the price followed. Over the next 48 hours, I watched as my portfolio started climbing at a dizzying speed, up 30%, then 50%. I was refreshing my wallet every 5 minutes, watching the dollar value tick up. My $1,000 investment was suddenly worth $1,500, then $2,000, then $2,500. The feeling was electric. My logical brain was screaming, "This is insane! It's a bubble! Sell and take the profit." But the other part of me, the part that was now fully immersed in the culture, was just chanting "HODL, hold on for dear life." The community was ecstatic. People who had put in a few $100s were seeing thousands in return. The chat was flooded with screenshots of massive gains and victory laps. At its absolute peak, my $1,000 investment shot up to an unbelievable $3,800. I had almost 4x'd my money in 2 weeks on a coin named Fart. I felt like a genius, a trading god. I was texting screenshots to my friends, basking in the glory of my ridiculous and now wildly profitable bet. For a second, I understood the intoxicating pull of these coins. It felt like I'd found a money cheat code. The high was real, but in crypto, every massive peak is just the edge of a cliff. The high from the pump lasted for about 24 hours. I was on top of the world. And then the crash came. It was just as fast and brutal as the pump was thrilling. The momentum that felt unstoppable suddenly slammed into reverse. The price started falling. At first, it was a small dip. The community called it a healthy correction. Just the paper hand selling, they said, "Time to buy more." But the dip kept dipping. That $3,800 in my wallet became $3,000, then $2,500. Then it blew right past my $2,000 profit mark. I watched as days of gains vanished in hours. The euphoria in the community curdled into panic. The rocket emojis were replaced with pleas to hold the line and accusations of a rug pull. The fear was real. Had the developers cashed out? Was this whole thing a scam? My portfolio crashed back down to my initial $1,000, and then, just to add insult to injury, it dropped below. I was officially in the red. The feeling was the exact opposite of the pump, a cold sinking sensation in my stomach. The genius I felt a day earlier was replaced with a deep sense of foolishness. Of course it crashed. It's called Fartcoin. What did I honestly expect? This is the dark side of the memecoin roller coaster. The volatility that makes a few people rich can just as easily wipe everyone else out. It's a high stakes game of musical chairs, and when the music stops, a lot of people are left without a seat. That night, scrolling through the Discord, the mood was somber. Some were defiant, vowing to hold no matter what. Others were openly sharing their devastating losses. It was a stark reminder that behind the memes and jokes, real money is on the line. I'd gone from the highest high to a new low, questioning this whole experiment. If you know that gut punch feeling of watching your portfolio bleed out, do me a favor and hit the like button. Let's share the pain, and subscribe if you want to see if I can claw my way back from this mess. While you're at it, comment below with the dumbest crypto you've ever bought. I need to know I'm not alone. After that gut-wrenching crash, the next couple of weeks were a slow, agonizing grind. The price of Fartcoin stabilized, but at a much lower level. It would bounce around, giving me a flash of hope with a 10% pump, only to crush it with a 15% drop the next day. The wild energy in the community was gone, replaced by a more cynical resolve. The tourists had left. Only the true believers remained. I committed to a 30-day experiment, and as the final day got closer, I steeled myself for the final result. I had been through the initial excitement, the madness of the pump, and the despair of the crash. I'd experienced an entire market cycle in less than a month. It was time to see where the chips landed. I opened my Phantom wallet for the last time. Deep breath. My initial investment was $1,000. At its peak, it hit nearly $3,800. After 30 days of emotional whiplash, memes, and digital fart sounds, my final portfolio value was $782. A loss of $218. Not a total wipeout, but a loss. After all that drama, I ended up poorer than when I started. It was weirdly anticlimactic. I didn't get rich, but I didn't get rugged either. I had basically paid $218 for a front row seat to one of the weirdest shows on the internet, and honestly, it was almost worth it. So what did I learn from losing money on Fartcoin? Was there a point to all this madness? Absolutely. And it's about more than just don't invest in fart jokes. First, community is everything in the memecoin world. Fartcoin's value doesn't come from its tech, even if it runs on a great blockchain like Solana. Its value comes from a shared sense of humor and collective belief. The community is the engine, the marketing team, and the customer base all in one. Without their constant stream of memes and hype, the coin would be worthless. Its price is almost entirely driven by social media momentum. Second, and let's be crystal clear, this is not investing. It is pure 100% gambling. The The volatility is insane, and the market is fueled by emotion, not fundamentals. Trying to time the next pump is a fool's game. For every person posting a 10x gain, there are countless others who lost big and are too embarrassed to say so. Never risk more than you are truly willing to set on fire. Think of it as a ticket to a very chaotic circus. Third, I was surprised to find a sliver of real ambition under the surface. The project has a roadmap that mentions things like fart NFTs with game features and a fart DAO for decentralized governance. They even have that eco-friendly initiative to plant trees. It's this bizarre mix of serious goals and juvenile humor. It's a dumb idea, but it's not necessarily a dumb project from a technical standpoint. Finally, I learned that the entertainment can be a return in itself. Was it a good financial decision? No. But was it an unforgettable experience? Yes. For a month, I was part of a weird, hilarious, and completely deranged corner of the internet. I felt the thrill of a massive pump and the pain of a brutal crash. It was a story, and sometimes that's worth more than a 20% loss. So, after 30 days, what's my final verdict on Fartcoin, the dumbest crypto on the internet? My journey started with $1,000 and a question: is this the next big thing or just a bad smell? I got thrown into a world of memes, hype, and gut-wrenching volatility. I watched my money nearly quadruple only to see it all come crashing down, leaving me with 782. The answer is that Fartcoin is both. It's a bad smell in that it's a terrible, high risk, speculative asset that nobody should treat as a serious investment. It's gambling, but it's also the next thing in the sense that it perfectly captures the spirit of memecoins, community, humor, and the power of a shared joke. It has managed to build an ecosystem worth hundreds of millions of dollars around a concept that is, on its face, completely absurd. It has a resilient community that refuses to let the joke die, all while trading on decentralized platforms instead of the major exchanges. Fartcoin is a fascinating cultural phenomenon disguised as a cryptocurrency. It proves that value can be created from thin air if enough people simply agree something is valuable, even if that something is a fart. It's a testament to the idea that in today's economy, attention is the most valuable resource of all. So, was it worth it? Financially, no. But for the story, the laughs, and the crash course in market psychology, it was worth every penny of that $218 loss. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Is Fartcoin pure genius or pure insanity? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this ride, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next dumb experiment I cook up. Thanks for watching.